Welcome back to another video. Today I've got the whole front end of my truck apart for one reason only. Well, maybe more than one, but the main one for this video. We're gonna put in a new intercooler from Sixth Element. All right, before we get into it, these videos are sponsored, as always, by 4gtaco.com, the 4th gen Tacoma Owners Forum. And if you're looking for any kind of Tacoma mods, make sure you check out tacomaforce.com. I'll put links to both of those in the description. Let's take a closer look at the Sixth Element intercooler. So, as you might be able to tell, the entire truck has to come apart. Quite a bit of things. Now, I'm not going to go into the step-by-step install because Sixth and a couple other people already did that. So make sure you check out their video as well. I'm going to give you a quick overview though. Obviously, the whole front end, you can see some of my parts over there and over there has to come off in order for us to get the core support and all these things around it off. Disconnect everything here, all the tubes, everything, so that then we can get access to the factory intercooler, which is right here. This guy. I'll put them side by side when I get a chance. I'm trying to stay out of the wind here. Hopefully noise isn't too bad. But when I get a chance, I'm going to put this stuff side by side, take some photo, video, so you guys can look at it at least side by side, in person, OEM versus the Sixth Element one. But I can tell you, just at first glance, it is a lot bigger than this one. So I'm going to keep disassembling everything. I'll probably, again, won't cover too much on the install, maybe some quick before, during, and afters. But we're already pretty deep on this one, so we'll check back in soon. All right, so this is the Sixth Element intercooler, which I believe is the same, if not nearly identical, for the Land Cruiser, the 250, and the 6th gen 4Runner. So I'm not an expert, but in short, an intercooler is basically a special type of radiator, right? Not like the one that carries coolant, but this one cools air. Basically, again, to my limited understanding, it cools the air down after it leaves the turbocharger and before it enters the engine. So obviously by lowering the temp, cooling down any hot air, especially the warmer it is outside, obviously, it allows for denser and more oxygen-rich air that allows the engine to burn fuel more efficiently, ultimately produce more power, and I think, again, maybe prevent engine knock or any kind of damage. So I'm sure you could go a lot deeper than that, and this is all stuff that I'm learning as I go, but that's the gist of it. Before I wrap this up, Sixth does a killer job with packaging. Everything was covered in protective padding here, there, all the way around. There was no way this thing was getting damaged. In short, we are cooling the air down with this little guy, big guy, at a more efficient rate than with the factory one, which at the end of the day should give us more power, more efficiency, more reliability, and then a decrease in stress to the system. I think we call it thermal stress here, but without an upgraded intercooler like this, hotter air basically makes the engine run less efficiently. So there is some element of protection, power, cooling, and I guess we're going to find out once we install it, right? That's going to be the ultimate. The Bud Dyno will tell all. So I'm going to get back to it, show you guys inside the truck real quick, what everything looks like. So I've got the OEM intercooler out. On a side note, well, not really a side note, do not do this if you're not prepared. If you've never done anything like this, maybe it's better off taking to a mechanic. It is doable, but there is a lot to remove, and that OEM intercooler sits in there really tightly. So I'm gonna show you guys right here. Everything has to come out, dude. Everything. You have an aftermarket bumper, everything's got to come off. You have any kind of bumper, you have any kind of accessory, wiring, whatever, it all has to come apart. I'm not going to go through all the steps. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of hidden bolts, a lot of bolts that require torque. And, you know, you got to be careful not to do this, bend your fins. This whole thing was literally hanging by the tubes, by this. Be careful if you do this so you don't bend your hood. That's why I have so many extra things here. Don't make this too tight. They recommend bungee cords. I use the ratchet strap because I don't have any, but It's a monster. It's a bear getting this thing out of here. Scraped and scratched, and thankfully didn't do any damage to the radiator, but be prepared to do this. Looks like it's going to be a good mod, but be prepared. Let's walk over there and I'll show you the OEM and the 6th intercooler. Here we go, side by side comparison. Try to give you guys a good vertical here where you can really tell the difference in size. Side profile, spin all the way around. Should do a lot better job of cooling this thing. Also, you see this? I dropped this. It bent the little probe a little bit. Came out of here. Be careful when you're pulling it out. Maybe pull it out beforehand so it's not hitting stuff as you pull it out. But I dropped this. Of course, I forgot where I put it on the camera of all places, and it bent that little probe. So hopefully this thing is still good. Don't be like me. Don't drop this. This is going to be screwed into right there, it looks like. We'll figure that part out, but just want to show you guys side by side. 6th element versus OEM. All right, dude, sun is going down, but we did it. The intercooler is on. Again, it's not an easy install. Not an easy install. I still got to hook up all the sensors, all the tubing, and everything like that, but this part is done. I bent this. I think it's the AC line. So be careful. It's almost unavoidable unless you were like to disconnect all of it. But I'm going to do my best to kind of get it back into place, and I think it'll be okay. And you can see like a slight bend right here. This, I don't even know what it looked like beforehand. It kind of sits up here, something. I don't know. Be careful on clearances down there. I might need to bend that guy that's touching down there a little bit, but that's it. Sun's going down. Just wanted to show you guys. So I'm going to put all this back together. I'm going to be working on the bumper and a couple other things, so probably revisit this video to finish on a different day. But there you go. Boom. 6th element intercooler. Better get 1,000 horsepower after all this work, or 20, 30. That'd be cool too. All right, before I start reassembling everything, let's take one more look at the intercooler and how it sits. Make sure you clearance everything. I think I mentioned it, but I did have to bend this thing after it got slightly tweaked after the install, which you can look at top down right there. Tucks in there really nicely. And I think that's gonna be it for now. Got everything reassembled. I'm working on painting and doing some bumper stuff at the same time, but there you guys go. 6th element intercooler. So I'm gonna wrap all this up, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what the intercooler will do. I'm gonna drive it and then give you guys some feedback on how it feels. So it's been a few weeks. Just finished up a wash over here. Figured it was a good time to wrap up the intercooler video. Now, if you haven't seen this whole front end, which I don't know if I've shown in a video yet, boom, how clean is that? Not to get too off track, I opened the hood earlier, tried to see if I could show you guys the intercooler on the inside, and all you can really see is the tubing. But I did want to show you, can you see anything from the front? I mean, kind of. See it right there? That's silver in there. Otherwise, it's a pretty stealthy mod. So I've had a chance to drive this thing for several thousand miles, a couple thousand, 1,500, something like that, since I put the intercooler on. Maybe 2,000, enough. I also switched to premium gas, enough to give you guys some feedback on how it feels and what I've learned about intercoolers. So let me flip the camera around and I'll tell you a little bit more. All right, so this is gonna be a little bit more about like the why. And I had to take some notes. I try not to script anything out because it takes a lot of time, but why would you even do this, right? So first and foremost, I was like, does the intercooler itself create power? And the answer is kind of, but usually it helps the engine and sometimes unlocks more power by ultimately controlling the air temperature. So colder air is denser, and I might have said some of this already, but I'm going a little bit deeper this time, which means more oxygen. So the same amount of air, but more oxygen molecules fit inside the same volume of air. So that oxygen lets the computer add fuel more safely, which supports appropriate combustion, right? Or better or more combustion. Basically, this means that you'll get less knock, and that equals more timing and more boost. So the heat increases detonation. So detonation is a form of knock. I believe it happens after the spark plug fires, and it's really bad for the motor. So as heat soak, right, basically sets into the motor, it's getting too hot, the motor will pull timing, reduce boost, and I read something about enriching fuel, which not sure how that would work, but it pulls ignition timing and boost, so you're gonna get less power. When you get a bigger intercooler, you get more timing, not less. You get more boost, especially in tuned setups, and less power reduction the more you use it. If you've ever driven your truck hard time after time, especially when it's hot, you might notice that it stops being as responsive as it is on that first pull or on that cooler day. Again, it depends on how hard you're running this thing and how much you're keeping up on it. So basically, the consistency in the lower air temperature gives you the gains, right? On a stock intercooler, power, again, like I said, it'll drop. An upgraded one will then maintain power repeatedly. It'll prevent that heat soak, which is bad for the motor and bad for power, and it keeps the temps stable under load. So ultimately, it doesn't magically add horsepower, but I'll touch on that in a second. It prevents the power loss. It keeps the engine in a more optimal, less heat-limited state. And on tuned vehicles, it could have the ability to give you, I guess, more aggressive power, which I'm not 100% sure on the tuning of these motors. I'm not an expert. I don't know if I've ever said that. I'm just trying to tell you guys the best that I can. So one of the questions I had about the gains from an intercooler was like, if a stock truck and an upgraded intercooled truck ran side by side identical conditions, would they technically post the same numbers? And I don't know the Toyota number well enough, or I don't have the data to support it, but typically it's relatively close on the first one, although in the unlocking sense, maybe you could get more power. Don't quote me on this stuff, but it's pretty identical. But like in a theoretical sense, let's say you had 300 horsepower, by 3, 4, 5 pulls later in a stock truck, you'd be at like 275. And again, don't quote me on these numbers, but I'm saying you're experiencing some kind of drop as the heat soak starts to set in. On an intercooler upgraded truck, you should be able to see more consistent power, like near 100%. And again, if it's 120 degrees out and you do 12 pulls, I don't know, probably not, right? But this is